with the positioning of the clutch.
Mercedes on 506 points in the Constructors' Championship. Just to remind you, if you're just joining us, something a little different. Stop a little bit earlier, try a massive undercut here, put pressure on Mercedes, maybe try and take them out of their...
And he's entitled to make sure they all arrive on...
Into turn 2 we go. Rosberg on the inside, Hamilton on the outside, but look back, locking up of brakes from Fiat and Ricciardo. Then Hulkenberg spun on the curve. Verstappen had to take evasive action, and Ericsson ran into the Force India.
So it's Hulkenberg spinning on the artificial grass on the outside, having his own problem that then became the same problem for Verstappen and Ericsson. There it goes.
Well, just no control as the Force India spun round, and a concertina effect behind him.
Are you okay to continue?
Yeah, it's the tire. I couldn't do anything about it. The car just came spinning to me.
Yeah, Verstappen.
Right. Are you okay to continue?
Yeah, it's the tire. I couldn't do anything about it. The car just came spinning to me.
What is the damage on the car, Max?
Left rear of the tire.
Sainz getting up to 17th from the back of the grid, but his teammate getting caught up in it all. Massa up to 11th from his 15th slot. So Vettel got away incredibly well. Has to go around the outside of turn 1 then, and then cuts back to Hamilton. Looked at this point as if he'd got the advantage, but Rosberg got the line.
You see the concertina effect behind. Hulkenberg spinning, Ericsson runs straight into him. We carry on with the action now.
There goes Lewis. I think Lewis ends up running completely off the track. Look, he does.
Now watch what happens down at turn 4 as the safety car comes into play. How close did Lewis Hamilton get to his teammate there, Martin?
Yeah, and a big swapper behind him for Raikkonen, who I think seized the advantage straight away, didn't he? He was actually the lead Ferrari all the way through, from what I could tell from that heli shot.
I think he got a really good tow, didn't he? And Sebastian Vettel away a little sluggishly. So for Nico Rosberg, a man who lost places on the first lap in 5 of the last 6 races, a bit harem-scarum for him, but job done. Managed to stay ahead of his teammate.
So a bit of turbulent there, cold tyres, understeer, 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 more understeer. Where are we going? Let's rejoin the race.
Yeah, and then watch this as Nico slows down. Blimey. Rosberg, as the leader of the race, just applying the brakes because the safety car sign came out.
Yeah, it's just a cold tyre situation, and we see the Verstappen getting clipped, and then I'm fully expecting some force.
That Mercedes engine has taken it. Hamilton scoots through out of turn 2 and says thank you very much indeed.
Now I think it's pushing him on under braking. He's gone wide in 2, struggles to keep it on the track. I don't think it was a yield as much, Crofty, as
Martin locking up. Bottas scoots through, and the problem just got worse and worse and worse as lap 8 continued.
Yeah, just pushing on at the corners, and the engine will always, even on...
All stays ahead of Felipe down into turn 2. The mathematics are that Lewis Hamilton will be 73 points ahead if he wins this race and Nico Rosberg doesn't score, and there are only 100 points remaining at the end of this race weekend. And mathematically, Rosberg would still have a chance, but you'd have to say it would require Lewis Hamilton to not score in 2, maybe 3 races for it to still be a chance of Rosberg winning. Jensen Button
passed, just about frightened the thing off the road. It is, yeah, Hamilton.
Okay, Romain, so lap time is competitive with the other prime runner. So we are P13, is a long race, everything can happen.
Romain Grosjean, who had to pit obviously at the end of the first lap, spent an extraordinary long time in the pits as well.
I'm in the paddock, Crofty. Rosberg's just come out of the back of the garage looking about as miserable as you would expect. The team, initially at the moment, they think that the throttle damper has failed.
Mechanical failure, mechanical reliability, it's such a major issue over the course of the season. And for Nico Rosberg this year, the mechanical problems have been, he's just above that rear wing. That's through the first part of turn 3, and then he loses the rear initially, Martin.
Yeah, as soon as he gets into the slipstream, that's about enough impact, but it wasn't a shocker because he slowed down over a few meters there. But he gets into the turbulent air behind the McLaren and gets an oversteer moment, corrects it, and it's a bit like being on an oval, isn't it, through there that they have in America. And then, of course, he's on to the marbles, the discarded rubber. Then he's onto the really dusty track that has no grip at all. And the deceleration, though, he sort of plucked the car in, as those can quite often do. And his head was like a punch ball inside the car, wasn't it? The hands device and the headrest doing their job there to control the movement to an extent of his head and stop that from happening. So that was the surprise oversteer that he turned into. Front tyres picked up grip and straight to the scene of the accident.
And if you look here, you mentioned this, Martin, when we first saw this replay. Onto the marbles, Romain Grosjean. Such a hefty impact, that really was. Kimi Raikkonen being warned by his race engineer, Dave Greenwood.
They haven't. The reason they would have been waiting, just to explain before, about a red flag. Obviously, if it's going to be a red flag, then you wouldn't want to. You'd want to keep a track position so that you'd start from that track position on any potential restart. So there they go.
You're in 9th place, and you're the first of the cars that have made their pit stop. You're thinking, let this safety car play out for as long as it possibly can here, because in about 10 laps time, pit lane window opens.
So for info, Hamilton in front is...
Down the inside, I wonder, going to be wide and off the track, comes... Raikkonen disappeared onto the runoff area, had to really. I mean, this move, wasn't it?
So Seb's got the corner at this point. They didn't quite touch, did they? But Raikkonen would have to have given that place back. The stewards would have enforced it.
And you can see further back, Fiat and NASA having a little go. And finally, Sebastian Vettel, with people joining us all the time, have a problem with his throttle pedal, a mechanical retirement for Nico Rosberg.
Perez continues to put good lap times in on those soft yellow marked slower tyres. You know, he may not have to pit again, so we'll keep an eye out for him later on. He could be right in the thick of it.
Valtteri Bottas, the gap down to 2 seconds between second and third. On board with Felipe Massa, who's seen that Sauber just move away and ahead into the distance a little bit. And at the moment, he's round about 1.4 seconds behind is Felipe Massa. And others with the plans for the future. Some teams happier than others in the present as well, and I would imagine at Ferrari they're a little bit happy now that Sebastian Vettel is getting within range.
Okay, Fernando, we've been given a warning about cutting the apex of turn 16. We've been warned about cutting the apex of turn 16. FIA have warned us, so we must be careful there.
Right, turn 16 is the corner that's coming up next for Fernando Alonso. Fusion as well, didn't they? Suzuka, when Carlos Sainz hit the bollard when he came into the pits.
Just a bit of movement down at Mercedes, Crofty. Just telling you, looks like they might be ready for Hamilton to stop in the not too distant future.
But he's built up a 10-second lead over Valtteri Bottas, who, as you can see now, has Sebastian Vettel gaining on him at every rotation of those super soft tyres.
That car looks a handful now.
It's not like this is not a track where the undercut necessarily works that well.
Guys, the tyres are dying.
They're saying the tyres are going. And the undercut doesn't work so well here, which is why Ferrari haven't tried it yet, because it takes a couple of laps to warm up your tyres. Sebastian Vettel heads off now into second place. Valtteri taking the long...
Well, it looks like some oven gloves, because any pieces, if you look at his rear wing now, look, any pieces of rubber, that was the front leading edge actually, really dramatically affects the aerodynamic performance. So, surprise, surprise.
Than his teammate, but the 142.5s for both of the Ferraris. Now, Bottas, you would imagine, has got a bit of DRS assistance here. That will help his speed, but he will want to get past Carlos Sainz as quickly as he possibly can. And whilst he's gaining on the Toro Rosso on the straight, is he going to be in a position to have a challenge? Into the second turn he goes on the inside line. He does not... It's normally the lead car. A bit of understeer getting into the pit lane entry there.
Going to be nip and tuck with Bottas out there. Bottas might still have the advantage.
Before this race to keep Bottas in the podium places, get him on the bottom step at least, but they were running second for a while, and I wonder, has the Innovans to do nicely for him, wouldn't it?
Just 40 miles an hour through his little right-hander. I'm not sure how much faster they could actually go through there.
But only by a fraction.
Well, in the end, he managed to not do
Sebastian Vettel. And that is for position on Sergio Perez.
Okay, well done, mate. Well done.
That's a good move. Sergio Perez, who was out there ahead of Vettel because he stopped behind the safety car, is now running in 5th place. It wasn't really a match for the Ferrari, the Force India.
I've got a feeling that it was a nice idea at the time. It's probably the only...
Bottas, by going a little bit wide, was a bit unsteady. Raikkonen shot past him. Now Bottas
got himself out onto the sea of marbles on the outside of turn 3, thought better of it, got out of the throttle, and then Raikkonen came at him. So this has pretty much been the story since he came out of the pits, isn't it? Ricciardo, Bottas, Raikkonen.
Still, Bottas stays ahead into the heavy braking zone at turn 13. They go.
I mean, the mirrors on these are about as useful as a chocolate fire guard, but he managed to see the rather red nose on its way. Here it comes.
Would he have known that he was a bit vulnerable the minute he went onto the marbles?
He would have been looking in the mirror. Yeah, it would look like Rudolph at Christmas, wouldn't it? Coming towards him, I'd imagine. Take that.
Red rocket coming your way. And they do tend to live every corner. And
this is not diminishing at all, Perez, Ricciardo. We'll have to keep an eye on that. Although they're not as fast as Bottas and Raikkonen behind them, but they weren't anyway in normal race trim. So it's worked a trick for them at the moment. They brought themselves into
reporting any injuries at all, according to the FIA, which is great.
Marbles. He was as much trying not to have an accident as he was an overtake there, I think.
Helping them. Tyre management just the key for Sergio Perez now. They think they can do it. They know their tyres are going to be pretty worn out towards the end of the race. They think they can do it. And if anyone can as a driver, it's Perez, who's a bit of an expert at that kind of thing, isn't he, Crofty? And so there's
cleaner fights, this one between these two drivers, and some we've seen over the course of this year. We've had a few coming together, haven't we?
Yeah, that's for P11, so just outside the points. Jensen clearly no battery power. He's 160 horsepower drift. This is obviously Alonso now coming under pressure from the recovering Verstappen after that first lap puncture.
He's gone the long way round there. And now Felipe Massa having a look on Danny Kvyat in the Red Bull. It's a replay that we see. Massa's managed to get past Kvyat. So he moves himself up into
C, frankly. It's just the gauge of the rubber that's left that we're talking about. And will he hit the cliff?
Well, it is, and this now is an opportune time for Bottas to get this overtake done. And Daniel Ricciardo, I'm sure, will try and defend it, but it's Renault power against Mercedes power. Bottas is lining up, he's alongside, he's ahead of the Red Bull under DR. Ricciardo, under the safety car, stopped on the very same lap.
Yeah, Ricciardo covered the bases, and he was darting around more in frustration than anything.
Brilliant stuff. So let's get Perez, who's starting to struggle with his front tyres.
Bottas stopped on lap 26, Raikkonen on lap 31. Their tyres much fresher, I'd say, but it's only a matter of time, you think, before Bottas could take that podium place.
With his 5-second penalty that Teb is reminding us of, and on the brakes, it looked more like Ricciardo yielded, but Kimi was just too late on the brakes there. Not yielded, but, you know,
not fought it too hard.
Well, just facing reality. And here we go then with Sainz. His left front brakes failed, that's why he's spun.
It's, you see it glowing red hot as well.
Won't be going much further in the race.
Second hardest track on brakes in the season. Sainz is down to 10th place. He's just been overtaken by Felipe Massa.
And it's stuff like that when they miss the practice running and the full tank running, that's the knowledge they don't get as to how to blank off the brakes for performance versus endurance.
Your screen.
And Bottas must be right on the back of Perez now.
Well, he is, and he's almost in DRS range. In fact, I think he probably is in DRS range. Yeah, there's confirmation on your screen. They're heading down the main straight now, just a little bit ahead of Kimi Räikkönen and Daniel Ricciardo, keeping an eye on the
braking capacity because of the tyres.
Almost took Felipe Nasser with him there, Carlos Sainz, didn't he?
Yeah, I was surprised. I'm surprised he was going that fast, but maybe we could see more of his problem than I would think. His left foot on the brake pedal wasn't feeling that good.
And he was told by the team that the front brakes were critical and that he had to look after them. And that is how it got retrieved. Well done, that Marshall. Oh dear.
Ooh. Okay, now it's clear, but we've got a very brave Russian running across the track.
Now, as Daniel Ricciardo out of, even in the DRS zone, he's not got enough speed to get close enough.
He's got enough traction out of the last corner, enough straight line speed, the same power, clearly deployed to defend, using his batteries to defend rather than pure lap time. Because pure lap time only matters now in relation to keeping Bottas behind him. Great job.
Suspension or something. Okay, so park on the right-hand side of the track, park on the inside of the track.
We saw him, he wasn't wiggling it about, was he? He was just trying to keep it going in a straight line.
Yeah. So suspension issues costing Daniel Ricciardo. This was at turn 8, where he pulled over to that right-hand side of the track as instructed by Simon Rennie, his race engineer. 3 seconds quicker than Sebastian Vettel, and they are on their penultimate lap, the first 2 in this race. The podium is about 8.3 metres at times, it seems, between Sergio Perez and Valtteri Bottas. He's closer, isn't he, coming out of the final turn this time around.
Too much wheel spin, too eager on the throttle.
Mode 1, we've got 1 lap only, go mode 1.
So this is it then.
Full beans, but too much wheel spin off the last corner.
1 lap only to try and do it. That's how close he got. Without that wheel spin, would he have been challenging Sergio Perez under DRS there? Was that the chance for Valtteri Bottas? Will another chance? That's a super move. Perez has been beaten into 3rd place. He might now lose 4th to Kimi Räikkönen, who I said was ready to come apart. Past Perez, Martin, and taking 3rd place. Was Räikkönen in the position to get past here?
It was a long way back. That's Räikkönen's fault. He'd just been told on the radio, apparently, all or nothing on this lap. And nothing it was in terms of the podium. But, as you pointed out, David, important that he crept over the line. That's 100% Kimi Räikkönen's fault.
Well, here's the thing. They're looking at Kimi Räikkönen and Valtteri Bottas and that crash. Could he yet find himself having 5th place taken away from him for that move? Let's hear Bottas.
What the f did he do?
He is not amused in any way, shape or form. As you say, Martin, 1% Kimi Räikkönen's fault, but the stewards...
The car was really special to drive today. I feel incredibly privileged to be a part of this team. Thank you.
We appreciate it, Lewis. Thanks for your comments, mate.
Yeah, great job, Lewis. Fantastic drive. Well done.
So it's a 73-point lead in the championship for Lewis Hamilton. After Austin, there'll be just 3 races remaining, so a maximum of 75 points available for anybody, which means 2 points will do it in Austin for Lewis Hamilton.
P3 Checo, well done. You deserve it, mate. Well done. Take the pickup.
Oh, well done, guys. Wow, that was very hard, man. I had no rubber left at all. Very good job, guys.
You've got to say, Martin, as well, you don't want to see what happened to Bottas on the podium. It means that he is going to become the 10th driver different.